What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Kart Smart TV. We are going to be doing another lithium swap today. So what we have here is EZGO's version of an actual LSV, low speed vehicle. This is a street legal ride. It does have your rear view mirrors, has your wiper blades, the wiper across the top there. For it to be completely street legal now in most states, you must have a windshield wiper. This is an EZGO 2.5. And like I said, it is EZGO's version of an actual street legal vehicle that is not classified as a golf cart. It is classified as a low-speed vehicle. You basically are sitting on an RXV is what you're sitting on. So if you have a 2.5 like we have here, and you want to do a lithium battery swap, which we are going to be doing from Bolt Energy, you have to leave the original charger in this golf cart because it is a dual action model charger. So what that means is not only does it charge the golf cart batteries, but it's also a reducer for your street legal kit, which means it's tied into every single switch, gauge, key switch, turn signal switch, the lights, the whole 9 yards. Everything that this thing does is tied into its charger. So with that being said, we are probably going to try to use the port, the charge port, if things are made up properly. When you're plugging it all together, you will need to move your cover that's over your controller and solenoid area. It would be like this, because you will need to access the B positive and B minus here when you go to put the new battery in. Alright guys, so you can see I got my lead acids out. Alright guys, I'm going to throw you a little bone here on how much these lithium batteries actually weigh compared to what 6 batteries weigh total. That entire lithium battery only weighs 105 pounds. To 6 of these total in a golf cart, they're almost 400 pounds. They're right at 70 pounds each. Those batteries are a substantial weight drop when you go to lithium batteries. So as I mentioned before, if you're dealing with one of these and you want a lithium swap, you've got to leave the old charger in it because it's a dual mode charger, which is meaning it has a built-in reducing system. So it's hooked up to the golf cart by these plugs here, 3 big plugs there, and all that runs into your charger right there. The old charger, that is. Got the battery put in and hooked up. Also, once you have alleviated the charger issue in this, you won't have to worry about using this one anymore. The problem is you just cannot remove it to get it out of the way of the golf cart. So that being said, because you've got to use the old charger to run the rest of the golf cart, you still got to take the wires that was hooked up to your lead acid pack and hook them to this battery, so that way it powers up the system that you need inside the charger. So that's going to entail the little sensor they put on the positive battery, main positive battery. Also your actual charging wire, because that wire has to see battery voltage to power up another part inside this old charger. And then you also are going to have to extend your ground wires from your, basically like your light kit and stuff, because it is on the side where the chart or the controller is, right there. All those ground wires lead over here. Obviously you see they give us supplied power wires from the battery, and so that's what you're going to have to do, is extend so that you can get to your battery, because you want to be able to access all your plugs and your on and off switch on the battery over here, and you will find that there's actually about a ½ inch more space on this side of the cart itself compared to that side over there. So we took all that into consideration before we dropped this battery in here. And we got all our wires. So the wiring harness ran to all the solenoid pieces. On your old solenoid, you're going to find a lone small yellow wire. See it right there on my finger. You find it all by itself hooked to the battery side of the solenoid. Be sure to remember that the lugs on this new solenoid are not the same size as the OEM solenoid that comes on the golf cart. So you will have to upsize the ring terminal that you use on the solenoid for your small yellow wire. Okay. Again, it goes on the battery side with the big cable from the battery. Which brings me to the reason why we left the divided tray in here. As you can see, there's one of the dividers, and there was an 8-volt battery that sat right here that was lead acid gone, and now I'm using it as like a barrier, as a cage for our charger to be protected by. And I was able to hook my solenoid to it, and in this case you may not have the same deal that I have here. That brings us to our charger. We self-tapping screws, tap right into the battery tray here. Very, very nicely done, very easily. You could pick the golf cart up with this thing. It's so snug in there. Fits in there nicely. It's a great spot for it, in my opinion. This one has been different, is the word I'm going to use. A little cutting had to go on because we had some stuff that was attached actually here that stood up about that high, about 3 inches high on both sides, like little fins that came off. So we decided we're going to cut those out of the way because we don't want them to interfere with the battery, and plus it still leaves the rigidity of the tray up here, so it's good and strong. And plus it gave me somewhere to tie our cables to, so that they'll stay up and off the ground or from sagging under the cart and getting caught. It's been different, man, and I think if you guys were trying to go lithium and you wanted to tackle this yourself, I think it's very, very doable. You just take your time, read the manual, and as always, y'all reach out to us and we'll try to answer the questions if you've got one of these. Now, if you go to your TXT models, your RXVs, I assume that this will be a lot simpler to do because you're not dealing with this problem. You'll be given one of these in the kit, and so it will take place of whatever you have in there now, or you adding, say, like lights and stuff to your golf cart. That makes a great addition to run your 48 volts down to 12, so that you'll have all the accessories you need. It's a great piece. We also have just one last thing to install on this golf cart, and it is going to be our meter. And there's really not that many places you can put it. I mean, of course you possibly could put it in the front of the cup holders here, but we're going to stay away from having to cut any holes there. Just not a big fan of doing that. With the meter too, you just find wherever you want to put it on your golf cart. Go in perfectly fine. It's got a little clamp and a wing nut on the back of it. It's very simple to put in and get mounted up to wherever you'd like. So keep that in mind, guys. Got our gauge installed, and we are done. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a pretty cool cart. Kind of weird, kind of cool. Low speed EZGO 2.5 is what we have right here. Half a smart car is what I call it. Anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us about this. We'll do everything we can to help you out. Give us a thumbs up. Keep those likes going for us, guys. Don't forget to comment. Look for the phone number on the channel there somewhere, so you can reach out to us and get parts, questions answered, anything, guys. We'd be happy to help you out. Most of all, hit that subscribe button for us. Keep us trending. We appreciate you all so much, and as always, God bless you all.